Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. This is Gianni DePoce, and it's great, as always, to be with you all. We saw another bloodbath in many of the equity markets this past week, as well as some other significant turns in other markets. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can review what happened this past week. I'm actually going to start off with some currencies. We saw the dollar continue to rally to multi-year highs. And we're looking at a chart of the euro right now. In this case, it means the euro is falling to a new multi-year low. So it's not far from par now, which is pretty significant considering that several years ago, it was north of 1.6. So the euro and the Japanese yen, which we'll look at momentarily, have suffered major drawdowns compared to the US dollar. But in the past couple of days, we've seen aspects with Venus, specifically Venus conjunct Neptune, and then Venus conjunct Jupiter. So Venus rules currencies, and Jupiter and Neptune together can rule elements of hysteria and widespread delusion. And we're seeing that type of hysteria play out now in the markets. Now, the question becomes, are we on the precipice of seeing a reversal in several currency markets because Venus is involved? That remains to be seen, but we'll definitely keep our readers of our reports updated on that front. I want to look at the Japanese yen now, because the Japanese yen is basically at a 20-year high, not as weak as the euro. Well, I should say it is weaker than the euro. The euro is not as weak as the Japanese yen. But here, too, we saw prices form what could be a short-term high when the Venus conjunctions to Neptune and Jupiter unfolded this past week. So that's what happened on the currency front. I want to take a look at the Dow Jones, because the Dow closed out near the lows of the week. We talked about how these Venus conjunctions to Jupiter and Neptune could unfold as a form of a mini panic, and that seems to be unfolding as such. Looking forward into next week, we have a couple of key aspects, namely Venus will be ingressing into Aries on May 2nd, and then we will have Jupiter forming a sextile to Pluto on May 3rd, and then on May 5th, we will have the Sun form a conjunction with Uranus and Taurus. And whenever we see Uranus involved, not only does Uranus rule tech, but it does impact breaks of levels of support and resistance. So now that markets are trading near support, could we see a break of key support and new lows made? That remains to be seen, but it's definitely something to keep on your horizon or on your watch list this upcoming week. Let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ, because the NASDAQ is falling harder than the Dow Jones. The NASDAQ down finished lower 4% on Friday and closed at a new low. You'll notice that the Dow has not made a new low yet, but we talked about in previous videos how Saturn's transit through the sign of Aquarius is depressing prices in the tech sector, and NASDAQ is a heavy tech index. Moreover, we're seeing this Saturn transit through Aquarius manifest via a shortage of semiconductor chips, which is a very key component to the tech sector. You basically can't build computers without semiconductors, and it's used in a lot of other manufacturing items as well. So that's a big transit unfolding. We've mentioned that the last couple of weeks, and I misspoke last week. Saturn will ingress into Pisces in May of 2023. I said it's actually March of 2023, not May. So March of 2023, Saturn will ingress into Pisces, and that could give some relief to tech stocks. But in the meantime, look for some continued depressed prices in that sector. I want to look at precious metals as well. Gold rallying into the weekend, but still has some issues. Would encourage our readers to check out Ray's insights on that. He's the best gold trader I know. And then we have silver. Silver not displaying the same type of strength as gold, which is definitely noteworthy. I also want to take a moment to look at cryptocurrencies. This has been a sector that many have anticipated to continue moving higher, but we've outlined in several reports that that is definitely not a foregone conclusion. So I would encourage you to check out our crypto reports, both the daily and the weekly, for updated insight on that front. So that's pretty much all I had to talk about this week. I do have a couple announcements that I want to share. Ulrich Aspergen will be joining us in next week's market review, and he will be a member or a participant in the MMA webinar, the part 2 webinar series that is set to be conducted on May 8th. That's going to be a Sunday. So I would encourage you to check it out. And for all of our other reports, go ahead and visit www.mmacycles.com. That's the place to get our most current and updated insights on these financial markets, which are behaving in a very erratic manner right now. So don't need to stand alone. You can see what's going on from our end. So that's all I had for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next one.